Scrolling through social media, I was starting to see these clips that had taken an existing singer's performance and made it sound like a completely different popular singer. I was genuinely scared. People's voices are like their fingerprint, and if the human voice can now be mimicked by a computer, things in our world are about to change. I was even more shocked when I found Heart on My Sleeve, which sounded like Drake's next #1 hit, but it was actually fully written and produced by Ghostwriter 977. And he used AI to change his voice into something that sounded like Drake. This made me even more concerned. And I think how I felt was similar to how a lot of people are feeling about AI. We never expected it to get this far. If AI has the capability to morph the human voice into another human voice, then not only is the world of music changing, what it means to be a singer in the pop music industry is on the verge of changing. And it raises the question, will AI music replace singers? Have singers become obsolete? Let's discuss it in this video. The fact that someone's voice can be mimicked and manipulated like with Heart on My Sleeve is a little startling. So startling that the song was struck down from digital streaming services. And so startling that Universal Music Group came out saying that they were forbidding companies from using their songs and artists to train AI tools. But what does it even mean for artificial intelligence to train or learn? Basically, it works like this. Artificial intelligence takes from an existing library of information and uses that information to create systems for problem solving and reasoning. This is what you get from things like ChatGPT, which is an AI tool that can use a library of written internet articles and other sources to write content. It's also what you've gotten with deepfakes, where faces of celebrities have been used to make it seem as if they're saying something they actually didn't. And this is what's happening with the human voice. But instead of internet text articles and sources being the information is the data from so many different recordings of human voices in various vocal situations, including both speech and singing. Artificial intelligence is nothing new. It's not a revolutionary idea that just sprung up on us. It's been in the works for decades, but it's here now, and a world where AI can copy the human voice, and specifically its singing capabilities, means that music creation could change, and not for the better. Firstly, an AI-driven world would cause nominal singing to lose its allure. Anything that's easy to duplicate would immediately become common. Take Drake, our working example. He's more of a rapper than a singer, so his singing style is super laid back and reminiscent of speech. He's not necessarily doing anything super impressive technique-wise. Thus, he's a little easier to copy, as there's less nuance. Copying all of these voices will soon make tone no longer have that shock value. Someone's singing tone can easily be replicated or replaced. In fact, pitch and voice correction technology has already been doing this. But that's only the starting point. The fact that AI can copy voices means that it will grow in its capacity to do it well. Even singers with all the technical skills in the world could be reduced to just an option in a library of different tones, techniques, and skills. Thus, the edge in terms of recording would no longer belong to the skilled singer or the unique singer. It would belong to those who own and license the access to this library of voices. This could lead to record labels becoming more and more possessive of their vocal property, so to speak. It would be like the game of Monopoly, but with voice tones and techniques instead of real estate. And it makes me believe that the ownership of vocal likeness will become more popular. Basically, what I mean by vocal likeness is how a person's voice sounds in every musical situation. I'm curious to see if record labels will buy into this more to prevent companies that create AI tools from using their artists' voices for AI training, just like Universal Music Group. But the issue isn't with the forbidding, it's with the ownership over these artists' vocal likeness, as in their voice and also imitations of their voice. This already happened with the likes of JoJo, who is locked in a 10-year basically freezing of her career because her label had owned her voice.
I recorded hundreds of songs, wrote hundreds of songs. They didn't come out, and it felt like I was banging my head into a wall because I'm like, is anybody ever gonna hear this?
She was really stuck. That contract, they owned her voice. She was really in a place where she thought she was never going to sing again in a commercial way.
Although this had nothing to do with AI, record labels could actually expand it to not just owning an artist's voice, but owning things that sound like the artist's voice. And it's definitely not to protect the artist, it's to protect their own money. So to what extent should record labels have control over AI-generated likenesses of an artist's vocal identity? And could record labels use AI learning as an opportunity to trap more artists in their web of control? And if we can get darker for just a moment, I really see record labels taking the opportunity to use their existing catalogs to create their own AI voice libraries. This whole record label vocal likeness ownership monopoly is seemingly bad, but AI music doesn't seem to be only bad. It seems like AI music is polarizing the music industry to have new sides to it. Before, it was about vocal ability versus the lack thereof. Now it seems to be about vocal monopoly versus vocal ability. How much of a library can an entity build versus how organically talented their artists are. Those that are business oriented but lack musical ability have the opportunity to exploit music catalogs for AI training and create from it a library of vocal tones and skills. But the desire for authentic, organic musical talent is about to skyrocket. Why? Because singing that is felt is less about talent and technique and more about connection. Take this clip from Yolanda Adams singing in the midst of it all. She doesn't just sing "Don't Give Up." She means "Don't Give Up." It wasn't simply that she sang it well and in pitch. There was an extra factor of meaning. You're able to hear all of her life experiences packed into this desperate cry for anyone that's listening to her. And as Tank said about the whole experience, the building was shaking.
People with that kind of vocal will definitely derail. It was supposed to be a duet. It wasn't that I didn't know what to do. I just couldn't do anything. The entire building was shaking.
That was wild.
Why was that? I can assure you it wasn't because of technique or tone, even though those things are a part of it. It was because there was an intentional, human, connection-oriented decision that Yolanda Adams made. These are the types of decisions in singing I don't think an AI tool can quite create in singing, at least not yet. But all of this AI hoopla is a wake-up call to singers everywhere. Don't just learn how to sing, learn how to connect. It's no longer going to be enough to mimic your favorite vocal run or sing a high note. Your vocal choices are now going to need a reasoning system that is rooted in authenticity and vulnerability. But the reason why we're so afraid of that authenticity and vulnerability is because in our own singing philosophy, we're finding a lot of the negative reasonings that have kept us from actually being our full selves vocally. If you want to learn how to actually unpack that stuff, you can go and watch my masterclass. And if you're on that path, I encourage you to just subscribe to this channel because this is the place where we help you to reclaim your voice. We're deepening that conversation here. So I hope to see you in another video. Bye everyone.